Welcome back. Automakers are shifting gears to help those affected by the coronavirus pandemic, including frontline workers. Kia Motors recently announced that production of face shields has begun at its manufacturing plant at West Point, Georgia, with the shields donated for medical use across the country. James Bell, the Director of Corporate Communications at Kia Motors America, is my guest.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Audrey. Thank you so much for having us on and giving this great opportunity to talk about something that we think is not only important for the car industry, but also mostly important for our local communities.
How are automakers stepping up to the plate during the coronavirus pandemic?
Well, first off, I couldn't be prouder to be part of this business. I already enjoy what I do. I'm a car guy, so I get to play with cars. It's fantastic. But I just have seen a real shift, if you will, shifting gears and not only looking at production and saying that we need to start to limit production, we need to be sure that our employees, not only at our at our factories, but also at our dealerships, are safe and taking care of customers and taking care of their own families the best way possible. So really kind of backing down the business. At the same time, we said, how can we help in local communities? And so, as you mentioned, we are now building face masks out of our factory in West Point, Georgia. This is a factory that is already building some of the most award-winning cars and SUVs in the industry. In fact, the Kia Telluride, which comes from that factory, it has basically cleaned up all the awards that are available in the car business, from Motor Trend SUV of the Year to World Car of the Year to North American Car of the Year to Car and Driver's 10 Best. We have won all the awards with the Telluride. So we know that those people down there in Georgia really know how to build a quality product. So we said, okay, we're not building Tellurides and Optimas and Sorrentos for a while. How would you like to support the local community instead? And so we partnered with some other companies that can provide the little bits and pieces that come together to build a face mask like this, and turned to our employees and said, you want to be a part of something bigger than all of us. And they jumped at the opportunity and have really embraced this idea of making these face shields. Now have the capacity of making over 200,000 of them a month, and then distributing them onto hospitals and medical facilities around the country. In fact, talking about the Telluride, we're developing a special task force, if you will, that we're calling the Telluriders. And this will be a program of Tellurides being loaded up with these face shields and spreading out across the country, looking at the different metro areas and making sure that they have these very important little pieces of equipment that can help keep all of us safe and comfortable. And that's the most important thing during these strange days.
Is it even possible to buy a new car amid the outbreak?
That's a great question. I would say that, the car business has been a little bit slow in adopting ways of buying and shopping for a vehicle, other than, walking in the dealership and saying, I'll have a look at that red one over there. It's been a little bit slow, but this pandemic has actually kind of shocked the system and has reestablished that has to be different ways of buying a car. And so very easily you can go to kia.com right now, look up information about your local dealer, look at your local dealer's inventory at this time, look at the different trim levels that are available, the different colors, the feature combinations, find the vehicle you like, select that, go into then the financing side, plug in your personal information, plug in all your terms and so forth, get that sorted out. Now, what we can't do is deliver a car to you in a box. You still need to have the keys handed over and the vehicle in your possession. And we also need you to sign the final paperwork. That part we haven't quite, as an industry, figured out how to do from a legal perspective yet. But there's two ways of handling it. Number one, you make an appointment with your local dealer, and then you can obviously go right in and practicing safe health guidelines, social distancing, and so forth. Take the possessions of the keys and sign the final document, or you can make an appointment to have the vehicle delivered to your own driveway, which sounds pretty good to me. And then again, take the delivery of the car, sign the final paperwork. You've basically done everything you would normally have walked into a dealership for, and it's all right there in your drive.
How might the coronavirus affect car insurance rates?
That's an interesting question. I didn't consider this when this all became a thing that we're all dealing with. But yes, I would recommend you reach out to your insurance company and see if they have any sort of special programs going on, whether it's a payment deferral program or discounts. I mean, or even rebates. In case my personal insurance company is going to be sending me a check here pretty soon, I didn't even expect. But, again, industry needs to recognize that we're all living different lives right now than has ever happened in this country. We are in a very strange state of being right now, and means that our cars are sitting for much longer. We're not driving to work every day. I'm saving personally a ton of money on gasoline because I'm not having to go to the office. So these are real considerations, and it's great when the industries, especially like the insurance agencies, or sorry, the insurance companies, look at that and say, okay, let's do the right thing for people and make that adjustment.
Buying or leasing? Which is better in this current environment?
Real simple question. If you look closely at your life now, if you are the kind of person that loves that new car smell, loves having the latest and greatest in your driveway, loves your neighbors to come over and say, hey, see, you got a new car, and some of us love that stuff, I'm one of them. Then and here's the key part though. You're that person that loves that new car smell, wants the latest and greatest, but you don't drive a lot every year. You are, a very defined commute. You're not taking long, sudden road trips up to distant venues. You're keeping a real kind of tight control on the mileage that you're accumulating over the course of a year, then leasing could be the best move for you. It also allows you to save some money because you're not buying the vehicle, you're just buying the use of the vehicle, so to speak, during that time of your lease contract. Now, on the flip side, if you are the kind of person who's putting a lot of miles on, that new car smell is not so important to you. You're good at maintaining the car. You're good at making checking oil pressure, checking the oil. Sorry, tire pressure, oil, and so forth. Then buying is probably going to be the right move for you. I'm just makes me so sad when I hear people that say, "Well, I leased the car because I liked the payment. It saved me an extra $50 a month, let's say, on a monthly basis during the term of my contract. But then I returned the car at the end of 2 years, 3 years, and I had to pay $4,000 in over mileage charges. That person never should have leased the car in the first place." And so, the easiest answer to your question is look at your own life. Put a little logbook in your car and write down or on your phone, note how often you're really driving, what you really need in that next car, and then that tells you if leasing or buying is the best for you.
And how long can a car sit on the street or parked, undriven?
That's a great question. So while today's modern cars are using materials and fluids and so forth that are better than ever before, it's still mechanical. It still needs to be turned on now and then. And especially in the case of the battery technology is actually still quite old, and batteries by their nature are going to lose charge over time. So I think it's important to, if the car is sitting for a week, 2 weeks any given stretch, to go out and at the very least turn it on. Just give it some time to warm up, get the battery charged up again. Heaven forbid you need the car. You need to help a neighbor or somebody in your family get to the hospital, or go out to get some supplies and go to start it, and the battery's dead. So that's the first and foremost thing. Also, take it for a little drive. I mean, that's good for our mental health to get out of the house now and then. You're still practicing social distancing, so there's nothing wrong with that. And it's also it's good for the car again to keep the fluids going, to warm it up, and for the tires. Tires can develop flat spots from sitting too long, and that can cause some uneven wear and trouble down the road. So it's all about I would say on that kind of once every week, every 2 weeks, go out for a short drive. Your car will be ready when you are.
Thanks so much for joining me.
My pleasure. Thank you.